Okay, knife has been in epoxy now for about 4 hours, and I made a mistake with the sequencing of my videos. I uploaded to YouTube everything that was post-heat treat to this stage, and I neglected to put on the actual heat treatment. So that is coming now, and I apologize for being out of sequence, but I want Bryan to have every step of this build on video so he can watch it. So to follow is the heat treatment of his knife. Okay, so this is stainless steel heat treating foil, and I'm just cutting a piece big enough I can completely wrap up the knife. You don't have to use this foil on every knife you make. It is beneficial in that it prevents the atmosphere from reacting with your steel and giving you what is known as decarburization, which is that scaly stuff you see on my knives when I take them out of the oil quench. Now on my O1 knives and things like that, I leave enough extra stock to allow for that so that I can grind it off. But with the fillet knife we're going to be doing, it's I wanted to ground pretty thin, and there isn't a lot of room to remove any decarb. So that's why we're going to foil wrap this. Let me get my foil put away and I'll show you how I wrap this. Okay, I want to wrap this as tightly as I can. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this foil approximately in half. I don't want anything on the inside. Now some knife makers will put a small amount of wood inside of here, or they'll smear the tang with oil or something that will consume any oxygen that's in the foil as it burns. I'm not going to get that technical about it. I'm just going to wrap it nice and tightly, and I'm actually going to use a linoleum roller to flatten this as much as I can and get the air out. Okay, so I'm going to pull the excess out to the sides, and you can fool with this a little bit. Now I'm going to fold the knife right at the edge of the knife over, and I'm going to fold it again, and then I'm going to press all this into the shape of the knife. Just get any voids I can out, reasonably so. Alright, so I'm satisfied I got most of the oxygen out. So now I'm going to really form my ends. I'm going to use these. This is pretty tough little foil, and you can cut yourself on it, but I want to form a bend here, and I want to cinch that down. And then I made a mark here at the end of the knife, and I want to form another fold right there. Make it flat. Okay, we're foil wrapped. I think we have as much air out of this thing as we're going to get. I think what little bit is left in there is not going to decarb too badly at all. So what we're going to do, we're going to harden this. After we bring it up to 1400 degrees and leave it for about a half an hour to normalize, we're taking it up to 1900 degrees. There it stays for 1 hour, after which it's brought down to below 125 degrees in oil. So I'll heat my oil up to about 110. And we'll do a long, slow quench. We'll leave it in there long enough to make sure it's fully brought back down. And that's followed by 2 draws with this steel. And what Crucible recommends is to maintain the corrosion resistance of this grade of steel. The lower you can draw it, the lower the temperature, the better off you're going to be. So I'm going with a 400 degree draw for 2 hours, and then when they come up to where you can actually touch them, this goes back into the drawing oven for another 2 hour session at 400 degrees, and then we're done. Then we can clean it up and proceed with the finishing. Okay, the blade is at 1400 degrees now, so we're going to hold it there for just a little while. It's thin in cross section, so it won't take long for it to normalize at that temperature. And then we're up to 1900. You know, the process, with the exception of the oil quench, the process is very similar to the heat treatment I do on D2 steel. D2 is just quenched in air, also in the foil. Okay, our knife has been at 1900 degrees for just at an hour, and our oil is down to 110 degrees. So this is going to be hot, and I'm wearing a glove here, and that foil is not going to look anything like it did when I put it in. Alright, let's get a nice firm but not too firm grip on it. In we go. Yeah, she's warm. Alright, so just move it like you do any of them. This is a long knife. There's not a lot of room to move it back and forth, but there's enough. So I'm going up and down as well. Just washing that into new oil, and we're going to leave that in there good 25-30 seconds. Boy, the shop is smoky. So I have my little drawing furnace in there warming up, and I'm going to get it out of this this foil and get it into the draw. Then we'll cool it down to room temperature and draw it one more time, 400 degrees, 2 hours each time. Yeah, that foil's seen better days, and I'm going to turn it a little bit, see if I can get that oil dripped out of those seams. Alright, so I'm going to get my furnace shut off and get this out of the foil, and we'll see you after the draw. I didn't put my little screen up there this time because there wasn't any room for it.